Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to The Charm. We're basically in line with that power pole. Where we're working on our first template. I haven't even built a template yet, but I know I can. And there we go. I think that's it. Yeah. So that's the logistics area stuff. Now in here, does that gap leave up enough room for like a simple station to unload in some way? Otherwise I might want to offset. I don't think it does actually. Unload. Unload. No. Because it'd be unload, buffer box, unload, or load. You guys get what I mean. You'd have to be unloading into a box. So actually that's not what we're going to be doing. Which means I want a single station. Which doesn't actually fit in that pattern. So let's start on some curves. That's for regular 2 gap, isn't it? Yeah, and that's not enough. I guess it might be enough if you didn't have another station right next to it. Yeah, in theory. That's not what I want to do. So if I add one of you in, and I mean just one of you, you don't actually connect. So I have to add 2 of you. Have to add 2 of you. There we go. At which point we end up with a free gap. Which is what I think we're going to end up going for. Then a line down the middle. If we was to replicate this on the other side. 1, 2. Yeah, the minute they don't line up. God, I didn't grab any of the robots. Let's not bother with science for the time being. Just strip you down a little bit. So be 1, 2. Then curve back up. And for fitting this inside that network there. Trying to figure out what length train. If we was doing it this way, you know, with these rules that we've, you know, imparted upon ourselves, what length of train could we go for? You'll end up being here. Because each of these little self-contained areas is going to need its own station to resupply itself, because it's going to be a separate robo network. So they're all going to need their own separate station. The station might be able to dual purpose and load in, you know, a particular type of ore as well, but for the time being then, something like that, and place the roboport. Going to do my head in if it's not centered, but wait, can I not place that in the area? Okay, that is powered good. I would want Do I want a station at either end? Now, I'd want the one station, which would actually mean that I'd need it to be able to turn around. Or I guess instead of having that station in line there, I could take each of the supply stations off at a right angle. I still want more space in between the track. But then I could keep this really wide thing here. Put the Roboport back where it was. And say over here, have the supply station. Or over there if rotated, top or bottom if rotated. Actually, no. I've got to make a separate blueprint for top and bottom because things don't work when you rotate them. Okay. So this central track is actually going to be gone. The idea of building on the inside was... Oh, actually, have I got enough for free? Just want to see the rough length. Probably be the highest that I could place it. I'd really want 4 as a minimum length. Yeah, that'd be too short. You'd really want 4 as a minimum length because I want double-ended trains. Loops are not intended. I want the train to reverse. I want it to come in, pull into the station, and reverse. So I think, yeah, I'll have a terminus station then instead of this inline one. The idea was then I'd only have to clear the line in between these two tracks to keep them laying down, whereas if I do the thing shooting off the side there, I'm going to need... I'm going to need to know... I'm not going to need to know anything. I'm going to need to clear more space. That's what I was meaning to say. It's fine, let's clear space up. And the reason why I got the top and bottom ones in now is because I can place this back in the centre of the plan. There we go. It can have its large power pole back. Thought it was connected to that one up before. I've been placing it at the bottom, yep. And that gives me the central line, which actually is annoying because... Actually, this way round, there is sort of a centre. With this Roboport. That's sort of in the centre of the network. So it's terminus station, something like this. Again, let's just... Let's run you a good bit longer. To start with. And get the carriages. 1, 2. Pick up a train. Attach a train at the other side. See, that also seems to give you a different length. That seems like enough. The viewers connecting up. I shouldn't need any connections for the corner, any straights for the corner. So we went here. That don't connect. That's for one step. So I do need to add a straight in a corner. But not in an S-bend. Okay. And I'd want the equivalent for coming in. There we go. Oh yeah, and by doing this exactly in the middle, the roboport's fending away again. So I don't want that exactly in the middle. I would want it, say, just south of centre. Or north of centre in this case. Should instead mean it lining up here. Let's go that one more. Because I really did leave the minimum of length there, and I don't know whether it actually had been enough. Come on, take it all up. This cannot be mined. What? Everything I was destroying there could be destroyed. Come on, destroy it. Good. And gone and gone. I overbuilt that apparently. I think it was here. Nope, one too far. I really wish this was more like Transport Tycoon, where you didn't have specific curved pieces, but instead you could go around a 90-degree turn. Maybe there was a minimum length of straight you should have to do, but I know it wouldn't give you these nice looking curves. Instead it would be... It'd look more like... Pick you up. It wouldn't give you this nice look here. And again, I guess it could because it's just doing that. But like going around a corner instead, like make these 3x3. Don't have anything in the game without a centre. Because it means when it rotates, it doesn't behave properly. You know, it needs an actual centre square. So if you need it bigger than 1x1, make it 3x3. And then a corner would just be that. Now, the graphics would probably nicely fix, or you might end up having a rule of not being able to do, you know, just straight into a corner. You might have to have two of them there, and that gets comparable to this curve. I think. No, it's still tighter. But I hate that it's a 2x2 grid because it can't fit on the grid system. It must rotate on like one of the four corners. And anything that doesn't have an actual center square, you have an actual one, not just like a determined one to rotate on, means when you rotate it, it won't work. So buildings should only be square. Now this might sound strange, but if it's to work with the blueprints, it should only ever be square. Or the blueprint should even possibly just not rotate if it's got things that, you know, aren't square in them. If that's you connected. Then to connect this. Don't know if this is the size I want actually. I need to have a play to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Power pack, power line. There we go. And there we go. And then that would be straight up. That's actually one too long. Oh, yep. And that, like... Oh, which one do you want to delete? You don't know? I don't know. I'll just delete one randomly. Now, this would allow this station to be serviced by... on the left. So this is north, this is south. don't know if I need the wider... If I'm not building the station on the inside, which is the plan, I don't know if I need the wider network. Is there any other bonuses for that? You guys might have realised I seem to ask a lot of questions while I'm in this. Sort of half, you know, without being able to get a reply. It's because I want you guys to reply, because that's how I learn. I was going to say, that should automatically reconnect. This suddenly now seems... yeah, too wide. I mean, that doesn't stay in the logistics area anyway. But it's also not the direction that the track's flowing, so it's not going to get in the way. It'll be a nice straight track to follow the pattern on. Trying to think, would I want a second station like that? Yeah, do I want it mirrored both ways and have two of them stations? Has my tool died? It has. There we go. Now, without having over or unders, and not being able to fit a full train in each curve, that's a thing. Let's see, without this, do I want a train to be able to wait, like a train from the north and a train from the south to be able to wait to get into the station? I do, and I don't want it to be crossing that there. That corner isn't enough for a full-length train, which I'm going to need to run up and get, actually, if I'm going to do this. Now, when working on a Transport Tycoon train network, you do your signals so the space just slightly larger than your train, or, to be honest, in the game you could do it for the perfect size of your train. But on this, the sizes seem to change, and I can't place them a certain number of squares apart and things like that. So, going into the train station, there should be a spot where the train can wait for the station to be free from each direction that it's coming in. So let's go grab some more engines, because I need a second train. That's going to give me my full length thing. Iron's still nowhere near backing up. What else was I thinking about coming up here to grab, and I didn't? The robots. Yeah, and I can bet some of them doing the work. Probably should have capped them. Only make me 100 of them. You make as many of them as you like. Yeah, I think we'll end up with 2 stations. If I'm doing a terminus station, I could try and mimic the crossover terminus, which was a 2-track one from Total Transport Tycoon. Right, I'm going to build the terminus station first. I think I'm trying getting too complicated building the whole thing at once. Let's build a terminus station. Excuse me. I think I even actually got picked up on the mic. But that was me pumping. Try and say that in the politest way possible. Yeah. So the minimum train length to be able to go back way, reversing trains, is you, followed by 2 cargo wagons, and then you. Load you up with a wood. And let's load you up with a wood. So yeah, actual proper dead end. I'm going to want some train signals, which needs some iron plate. Well, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, that's all the time that we have for today. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. In the next episode, we're going to make what I would call one of the default terminus stations. And that was going to be one of them on every single... Oh, maybe one or two of them on every single branch, every single stretch of the main line. Which is way overkill. But I'll work out how far that's going to be. I mean, I've placed these at sort of like the minimum distance apart that I'd want them. Have I not placed them in line? Because they're not the same network. Right, that's on this bush here. The edge. I think them two are in line. The ones in north. This doesn't look in line to me, though. Nope, it's one off. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for YouTube, that's all the time that we have for today. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. In the next episode, we'll deal with making the default terminus station, which is probably going to be doubled. Anywho, as always, I'd like to thank you for watching. I've said that I don't know how many times. Goodbye!